Almost 3 out of every 10 homes that went up for sale in Flower Mound this past year never sold. They didn't get outbid. They didn't fall through. The seller just gave up. And that's what's happening at every single price point in this town.
Looking at all the data from the past year, every home that sold in Flower Mound, every one that got canceled or that expired, we see a pretty clear pattern.
And we're going to show you exactly what's happening so you can see what separates the homes that sell and from the ones that don't.
And by the way, we're Bret and Molly Chance, owners of Texas Home Life Realty right here in Flower Mound. We have people just like you reaching out to us every single month to help with their next move. So if you'd like to have a conversation about your unique situation and how we can help you, feel free to click the link in the description to book a discovery call with our team.
Homes that sold had a median time on the market of just 18 days. The homes that didn't sell, the ones that got canceled or expired, they sat at a median of 85 days before the seller finally gave up. That's more than 4 times as long.
It's the same gap at every price point in Flower Mound. The story doesn't change. There really are 2 different experiences happening out there. One where the right home at the right price moves in under 3 weeks, and one where a home just sits month after month until the seller stops trying altogether.
It's not because these are bad houses either. Looking at what's for sale in Flower Mound right now, more than half of it has already had a price cut.
And most sellers do eventually adjust. The problem is how long it takes them to get there. And by then, a lot of the buyers who would have paid full price at the current market value have already moved on.
The house has lost its window for being new on the market, and there is no longer an urgency for a buyer to make a strong offer. So the house either sells for much lower than it would have if it was priced right from the beginning, or it never sells at all.
Now let's get specific because numbers like that are easy to wave off until you see actual homes. Starting in the estates at Tour 18, one home there sold in just 6 days. It was listed at $1.695 million and sold for $45,000 less, almost the full price in less than a week.
Most people think homes at this price point take longer to sell. There aren't as many buyers looking in that price range. That part is true. But this home shows a smaller group of buyers doesn't mean a slow sell. It means the price and presentation has to be right.
Now look at another home in that same neighborhood. It was listed at $3 million, sat for 103 days, and it finally sold for $592,000 less than where it started.
Bridlewood showed the same thing. One home was listed for $835,000. It sold in 1 day for $17,000 over asking. Another home in Bridlewood was listed at $1.28 million. It sat for 158 days, and it sold for $132,000 below asking.
In Lakeside, one home was listed at $1.175 million. It sold in 2 days for $5,000 over asking. Another home was listed at $1.4 million. It sat for 53 days and sold for $200,000 under.
Same pattern in every one of these neighborhoods at every price range you're looking at. Price it right and it sells fast, close to full ask price or over. Get the price wrong, every week you wait and cost you real money.
And that's not just these 3. Across all Flower Mound, homes that sold this year closed right at around 98% of their original asking price on average. Pricing right doesn't mean losing money. It means selling fast, close to full price, instead of sitting for months and cutting anyway.
We've recently heard a story from a colleague. She reached out to a homeowner who had been trying to sell her house and had taken it off the market, and she'd been trying to sell it for months. Our friend almost didn't reach out to her because the listing price was so far above where the market was. She assumed that the seller wasn't interested in pricing her home to sell.
But she went ahead and reached out to the homeowner anyway. And to her surprise, the seller told her that the original agent kept telling her to hold her price, that it was worth it, that she'd get there eventually, even though the seller had asked her if she should reduce the price.
Honestly, in our opinion, that's inexcusable. We see this constantly. Homes that sit take a small price cut. Some sit more, sometimes come off the market and go right back on basically the same number. And nothing about the home or the strategies actually changed.
We talked to agents ourselves who will tell you with a straight face that a home sitting there a year later is still worth the original price. It's not. The market answered that question months ago.
If an agent can't read what the market numbers are actually saying or can't have the honest conversation with their client, in our opinion, they should not be holding a license. That seller didn't need someone to agree with her. She needed someone to tell her the truth.
We hear a version of this constantly too. Sellers who figure they'll just wait it out until the market swings back their way. But that's not what we're seeing, and it hasn't been for a while. Every extra week a home sits just moves it further from that fast-selling group and closer to the one that gives up.
Waiting doesn't fix the pricing problem. It just delays it. And pulling your home off the market does not erase what's happened either. Agents can see the history and they'll use it to justify a lower offer the next time you list.
And we get why sellers do it. Nobody wants to feel like they're giving in. But there's a difference between giving in and getting smart. One of those gets your home sold, the other just gets you a longer wait and usually a much lower price.
That's why the sellers give up. They got bad advice about the market, or their own expectations just never matched up with what actually takes to sell a home right now. And when the two don't line up, a lot of sellers stop trying instead of adjusting.
Here's what actually gets homes sold instead of stuck. This is what we tell our own sellers. First, price to the last 60 to 90 days of sales in your specific neighborhood and price range, not the citywide number and not what your neighbor got 2 years ago. That's the number that separates the 18 days from the 85-day ones, and it's the one piece that almost every stuck seller gets wrong first.
Second, and this is a big one, if you already tried once and it didn't work, don't just relist at the same price with the same photos. That's not a reset. Buyers see right through it. And so do agents. A relist with the same number just tells the market you're not serious about actually selling, and no one will put in an offer.
A real reset means real change, a new price based on what's actually selling right now, not what you maybe hoped for in the beginning. If the walls need paint or the yard needs work, take care of that before relisting, not after the first showing falls flat. A fresh description that tells a different story than the last one did. If your home is already sat, something about how it's presented has to change. It needs to grab the attention of the right buyer.
Third, get ahead of the showing before it ever happens. In a market where buyers have 5 or 6 other homes to tour on the same weekend, the home that's decluttered, staged, and photographed well is the one that gets picked in the first place before anyone ever walks through the door. We've watched this play out over and over. 2 homes, same street, same price, and the one that's ready wins the offer every time.
Fourth, think about where the new price actually lands. A lot of buyers search in ranges, under $1 million, under $800,000, and so on. If your price sits just above one of those lines, you're invisible to a whole group of buyers who never even see your home come up in their search. Land just under that line and you're suddenly in front of buyers who were never searching for your home before.
If the market is showing your home should sell at $1 million, don't price it $1 below. That is a terrible marketing strategy where people think it's using psychology to make the house look like a deal. But all it does is decrease your buyer pool. Price it at $1 million and attract the buyers on both sides of that number. There's a whole strategy behind this technique, so if you're interested in learning more, just reach out to us.
And when you do relaunch, treat it like an actual launch. Reach back out to the agents who showed the home the first time around and let them know what changed. Time it so that it hits the market right before the weekend, not in the middle of the week when nobody's really looking. Schedule an open house that first weekend. Launch the new positioning with an advertising campaign just like you did when you originally listed. Small things, but they add up to a home that shows up fresh instead of a home that looks like it's just been sitting there.
One more thing on price, because we don't want you to overcorrect either. The goal isn't to chase the market down with cut after cut. It's to land on the number that's actually supported by what's sold near you in the last 60 to 90 days, and to get there in one confident move instead of 5 small painful ones. One real cut reads decisiveness. 5 small ones reads panic.
And here's the mindset shift underneath all of this. Waiting for the market to turn around and bail you out isn't a strategy. Based on everything we've watched happen this year, that turn isn't coming, at least not soon enough to save a home that's priced wrong in today's market. The sellers getting real offers right now aren't the ones hoping things change or the ones who found an agent to tell them what they just wanted to hear. They're the ones who made a real change themselves on the price, the presentation, and on the plan.
Do those things, price it at today's market, make real change instead of repeat, get to the home ready before the first showing, and think about where the price actually lands for buyers searching online. And you're in the group that is closing in a few weeks, close to full price or above. Not the group still waiting on the market that isn't coming back to save them.
That's the whole gap we opened this video with. 18 days versus 85, 97% of asking price versus almost 600,000 under it. Almost 3 out of 10 homes in Flower Mound never making it to the closing at all. The homes closing fast and near full price aren't lucky. They're just priced and presented for the market that's actually here, not the one that everybody wishes we still had from several years ago.
That's the whole difference of what gets a home sold and what leaves it stuck. We'd rather tell you the truth up front than have you frustrated and losing money in a year.
And before you ever put your house on the market to sell, there are 10 things you absolutely should not have in your home. So check out this next video where we're going to tell you all about them.